The greatest Denver Nugget of all time. Welcome him in, Alex English. Man.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys.
How you doing, brother? I appreciate you,
I'm
man.
doing great.
I'm doing great. Your biggest fan is now a 69-year-old white lady sitting in California named Cecilia. It's my mother, and she's not a fan of you because of your hoop game. It's because of the great movie that you were in,
Amazing Grace and Chuck.
Amazing Grace and Chuck, man, is a classic. And I don't know. I bet you, Darnell, please forgive my young man right here, Darnell, Alex. He a young, wet behind the ear whippersnapper, man. I don't know if he knows about that movie, but it's a legend.
Well, hey, it's okay. It's okay. You can always go back and look at it.
Exactly.
You damn
right. I will do that.
Hey, I don't know if anyone even in this chat knows about that movie, but you're talking about a classic, man. I'm gonna give the crowd a little snippet real quick because I got something to show you.
Okay.
Hey, those are shorts, brother.
Who is that guy?
Looking good. I see you got the arms out.
And there's Jamie Lee.
Legendary.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Hey, you did a hell of a job acting, man. I gotta be honest. What got you into that?
Well, I just got an invitation to try out for the movie, and once I read the script, I felt like, hey, I could do this. So I went and auditioned, and fortunately, I was able to get the part.
Man, you did a hell of a job. I was a young kid. I was about 12 years old, 11 years old, man, watching that, and I was like, damn, that was a hell of a job. I thought you were an actor. I was like, shit, he a hell of an actor, man.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Denver Nugget of all time.
Excuse me?
Are you the greatest Denver Nugget of all time?
I would love to be able to say that, but I'm going to give Jokic some props. He's getting there. He is, to me, he's an amazing talent. He's a generational talent, and I've got to give him some props.
I love it. I love it.
Thompson. Where you put David Thompson?
I'd put David Thompson in the category as well. He had a great career with the Nuggets. There were a lot of players that came through there. Dan Issel, Kiki Vandeweghe, Fat Lever, who was a triple-double waiting to happen. So, yeah, there were some great players to come through there. I'm honored to be considered one of them.
No doubt.
Yes, sir, for sure, man. And you're obviously Denver Nuggets legend, Denver royalty. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised you didn't come on the porch or come on the podcast with a crown on your head. I want to ask you, describe your emotions when you saw your franchise officially make it to the NBA Finals for the first time in their history. How did you feel?
I was quietly elated. It was one of those moments that we have been trying to get to for a long time. When I played I forget what year, we played the Lakers and was almost there, but I got a broken thumb and we weren't able to finish. So, to see this happen and to see them be in the finals, they're going to finally get some due recognition and some due respect that people haven't given them over the years.
No doubt. I got a little clip too from this back in that day.
Okay.
Great Alex English on everybody. I just wanted to give him I pay homage to the legends and my forefathers. There's a little
side with this one. Quick pass inside, returned by
Alex back in the day versus the Lakers. This is one of the games you were just talking about back in Magic. This was you and Magic. How far are you guys apart age-wise?
I think maybe 8 or 9 years.
Okay. Yeah, he came in. That was a hell of a battle right there. Kareem, Magic. You had the enforcer Kurt Rambis out there trying to guard you. It didn't work out too well for him. You were very, very graceful, man, with the rock in your hand. That's just one thing that stuck out to me as a youngster because I grew up watching you and I was like, shit, man, you were so graceful. That's why that movie you're in, Amazing Grace, is just so fitting for you. That's how I put it. But man,
well, thank you. I mean, one of the players you didn't mention just now on that floor was the great James Worthy. That's who I had to battle the whole time.
No doubt, no doubt. Was Cooper on that team? Or are you too young?
Yes, Coop was on that team.
So they had some wing defenders, huh, that you had to deal with.
Yeah, they had some defenders, but then they had the greatest of all, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in the middle, and that paid. They had a lot of credit from having him in the middle because he did so many things for them. You know, the greatest all-around player that in my day.
Love it, love it. Now I got to ask you. Obviously, you're still a fan of the game today, and you watch the game heavily and played back in the days. What's to you is the biggest difference from your era when you played and today's era?
Well, you know what's happened is when I played, we were a fast-paced team. You know, I think we probably got some of the highest scoring games in the history of the NBA on record. And, you know, people, even back then, the game was fast-paced. The Lakers were a fast-paced team. But over the years, the game started slowing down. And they started trying to play defense and focus on defense when, you know, people wanted to see offense. They love defense, but they want to see offense. That's what makes the game the greatest game to watch. And the game today has come back to that. The flow, if they talk about flow, they talk about pushing the ball up the floor and taking what's there. And I think that the Denver Nuggets, they kind of like a throwback. They do what we used to do. They don't push the ball up as fast, but they play off of reads. They pass and they cut, and they've got a guy in the middle that just makes everybody great. So that's the, you know, the game changed, but now it's coming back to what it's supposed to be. You know, wonderful offense and great defense, but people want to see great offense.
No doubt. You South Carolina in the house, shout out, my favorite recruiting bed in the whole country, recruiting for football. I say South Carolina has the best talent per capita in the country to recruit. I tell people that all the time. James Worthy, North Carolina Tar Heel, you just mentioned. A lot of Carolina love in the house. We got a lot of Carolina people in the chat. Let me ask you something, Alex. You growing up in that era, obviously we got a young man out here, John Morant, who's from South Carolina as well. And I happen to know a guy that was around him in his AAU days and all that stuff. What's your take on that right now, that young man situation? What's going on with him, and can it be fixed, or is he just a waste of talent, which we all hate to see?
Well, you know, like I said about Jokic, he's a generational talent. He's one of those game-changing guys that's got the kind of talent that's going to change the moment. And unfortunately, he's gone through a few things right now that can be fixed. And I'm sure that the NBA, you know, with all the player programs that they have available for these players, I worked in that department at the NBA Players Association. I know that they've got people working on this. And what Ja's got to understand is he's a player. He's one person, and the NBA is not going to change for him. He's going to have to change for the NBA because you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business. And I'm praying and hoping, you know, he's a South Carolinian from the area that the great Ray Allen is from. You know, I'm hoping and praying that he's gonna get it together. And I know that NBA's got people working with him, reaching out and making sure that he understands first that you can't play in this game. You can't do what you want to do until you've got it together. And I mean, I can remember back in the day when we had players like the great David Thompson, Michael Ray Richardson, guys that, you know, at that time were involved in the drug scene and got kicked out of the league because of that. You know, the NBA is not going to wait on you. They'll wait on you long enough to see if you're going to get it together. But if not, you know, they've got to move on. And I'm praying and hoping that Ja Morant gets it together and the people around him, including his father, make sure that they help him.
Good point. No question.
100%. 100%. And something else I want to ask you, kind of going back to the on-court scene, and you specifically, is when you look at today's scope of players, is there any players that remind you of your playing style? Like just any, whether it's on the Nuggets or just any other team in the league? Is there anybody who you look at and you're like, man, that looks kind of familiar?
Well, maybe in body size, body style, I think Kevin Durant is similar to me. He was slim, run. He's a different kind of player, but kind of smooth in his game.
Right.
I worked with what I had, and what I had was I could run the floor, and I had a jump shot that was almost unstoppable, and that's what I worked on. I was a mid-range player. I'm sure if I had to work on playing with the 3-point line, I would have done that too. But I was a mid-range game, and I think that the beauty of the game is between that 3-point line and the basket. So, as far as players, I mean, you see different glimpses of guys, but that's the beauty of the game. Also, is that you've got that talent is so unique, and every player brings something different and unique to the game.
You know what, JB? I was thinking if Alex played today, you probably would average 35, 40 points a game, wouldn't you? Just because the defense is different, it's more possessions. You were already scoring a lot of points back in your era. I could only imagine what you would be doing today.
Well, I would have had to have added a 3-point shot to my repertoire, and that would have made a difference as well.
100%.
No doubt. Alex, we all can get back into comparing apples and oranges. Everyone wants to say this era was the greatest. This guy couldn't have played in this era. I'm known for it because I come out and say, the game has changed completely. You guys didn't have really a zone defense back in the day. It was man-to-mans. You switched. Nowadays, back in the day, it was illegal defense, right? You used to shoot a free throw for being an illegal defense twice.
That's
now
right. That's right.
Do it. Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
back when I played, the game was a lot more physical. Guys you could cut across the lane and they could hit you. They could put their hands on you. They could keep you from going where you wanted to go. So you had to be able to adapt and acclimate to that. And nowadays you get touched lightly and they call a foul. I don't know if a lot of the guys that play today would be able to take the kind of brutality that we went through. The players like John, or what's his name, played with New Jersey.
Simmons?
No. He was a point guard. But anyway, there were guys, Ricky Sobers, Rodney McCray, Mark Ivoroni, Maurice Lucas, guys that I had to deal with that were just like, okay, you coming this way, young fella, you just better be prepared to get a bruise.
Hey, that's what I used to love. I used to like that era, man. I thought you were more rewarded when you you got to the house and you won the game, and you're like, man, I'm beat up, and this is the feeling we should have for our putting in this work. It's competitive, but nowadays everything is a damn review. I got to go watch a 10-minute review on a flagrant one, which is your day was a common foul.
That's right. That's right. So, and the other thing about the game when I played, we would play, I can remember playing 5 games in 6 days. We had a back-to-back, a day off, and then a back-to-back without having the flights that would get you out after the game and the type of, tampering that they get today, the luxury that they, and I'm all for it. But back then, your body would have been saved a lot longer. You would have been able to play a lot longer. But, you're getting up at 6 in the morning to catch a flight to go play in a city the same night and doing the same thing the next day. That wears and tears your body up.
No doubt. Let me ask you something real quick. You played till you were, I believe, 37 years old. LeBron's 38 right now, contemplating on coming back another year. Are you amazed that LeBron's still playing at a pretty high level at this age because of his body and his physique and what he puts into it? Or are you like, man, there's not much more you can do? Father Time is eventually going to catch up like it does to all of us. I say time is a thief. What do you say about this LeBron James thing? 38, still playing at a high level. And what is it like playing that long into this league? And especially 37 in your era was like playing football today.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I commend LeBron James on the job he's done and admire him as well, because I know, the rigorous part of the game that just tears your body down. You've got to be able to take care of your body every day after every game, and to put that kind of time and focus in your game every day, every game is amazing to me. So I commend him. He's done a great job, and at 38, he's getting 25, 26 points a game, 8, 9 rebounds, assists, and probably could do more if he forced it on his team. But he's kind of acclimated to what he needs to be doing for his team today.
No, 100%. And I'm gonna just ask you. It's Fire Up Fridays, is what me and JB like to call it. So we brought up LeBron.
Fired Up Friday.
Fired Up Fridays, Alex. We talked about LeBron. I gotta ask you: Is he the greatest of all time? If anyone would know, you would know. I wouldn't know. JB wouldn't know, but you, OG, would know this answer. Is LeBron the greatest?
He's one of the greatest. I played with some of the great players, Michael Jordan. I always look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and say, what he does for the game, the way he played the game, he's the greatest to me. And I mean, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, there's just been so many greats. But you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, no one has duplicated the sky hook. Nobody's done what he's done. And I don't think you'll see that. So he's one of the greatest to me. But I do put LeBron and Michael and all those guys, Kobe Bryant, I put them in that same category. You can't, and even Jokic, his game is one of those era-defining games that's going to change the way people play. I mean, I watch what he does on the court. He's a point guard, forward, center. And what he does for the Nuggets is they wouldn't be the team they are if they didn't have someone with that kind of knowledge and skill in the middle.
Was the big old Oscar Robertson, was he up in that?
Yes. I mean, I didn't mean to not throw his name in there. There's so many great players. It's the era that you play in, the people that you play against. And for his time, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell. You can't just push those people out of being in the greatest. There is no greatest. There are a lot of greats. And I am just honored to be a part of the sport of basketball, playing against those guys, watching those guys play.
No question. Let me ask you a current question right now that's going on. Boston Celtics down 0-3. They're now down 3-2. Headed back to Miami tomorrow. The momentum has shifted. Is this a team that can be the first to ever do it, down 0-3, to come back and win? Because it seems like the pressure's on Miami right now. And
you're right. The pressure is on Miami. They were up 3-0 and now 3-1. What is it, 3-1 or 3?
It's 3-2
now. So the pressure shifts back to Miami. They've got to show up in Miami, and Boston's going to be pumped. And Boston's one of those teams that is streaky, and if they get out of this, they're the one team that I think would be a competitor for the Nuggets because they're talented. They've got big guys in the middle that would work hard, that are going to run the floor and get back on defense. And they've got guys that can score from the outside. They've got good defenders, and they've got dogs. They got people that say, hey, we want to win this game. So Miami's got to be careful. I love what they've done. Bam Adebayo is one of my favorites. He's got to step up. Jimmy Butler. They've got some injuries. So, that's the other thing they've got against them. They've got to be ready to play when they get home. Otherwise, they go back to Boston. It's going to be the same story like Philadelphia. Yeah, they're hurting. They're hurting at the guard position. They're getting a lot of guys playing. Yesterday, they had a kid yesterday that hadn't played in all year long, and he stepped up for Miami, and he's probably going to have to play. He's going to have to play now because they're so banged up at guard, and maybe Tyler Hero comes back. But who would you rather see as a Denver Nugget alum? You rather face Miami or Boston? It doesn't matter. We can beat both of them.
I love it.
It's a matter of who's going to give you the toughest game. I think the Boston Celtics are they are equipped to give Denver the toughest game because they can push the ball. They play defense. They've got big guys that can work with the Jokic. Miami, I don't think they've got the tools. With the Nuggets, you can have any guy any night give you 25, 30, whether it's Murray, Jokic, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Gordon, any one of those guys, and people coming off the bench that might show up. But the most important part is that beast in the middle, the MVP, I say, in the middle, who makes that team run and he does everything. You could see the game when they were playing the Lakers that he said, "Hey, I'm going to take over now," and he started bringing the ball up the floor and he started running the offense. And Jamal Murray, he's a superstar. So they can beat you from any position at any given time, and I think that's what makes them different. It's the other players that play on the team that can play, that genuinely can play basketball.
Before I ask you, my bad, Smitty. Before I ask you I want to ask you a college question. I want to stay in the NBA for 1 second though, but what do you think about the Joker MVP thing? Do you think that they didn't give it to him for 3 years in a row to squash the narrative that this guy could possibly be the greatest ever? Because nobody ever has done that. So they're going to put him in a stature by himself. Do you believe that was something they did to keep him out of that GOAT discussion? Because you're putting him in a very, very finite group if he would have won 3 in a row, right?
You're right. Well, I don't know what their reasoning was, whoever voted for him, but they did a terrible job. All you got to do is look at what he does for his team, look at his stats, and compare him against the other guy. He's running the show. He's triple doubling. He's not falling down every play. He does everything on that team. And he's one of those low key guys and said, "Hey, yeah, I participate." He gives his other team. He understands that his teammates are what makes him as good as he is, but he would be as good as that on any team. So I don't know what their reasoning was, but they made a big, huge, grand, monumental mistake.
Hey, Mark Jackson didn't even vote for him, brother.
I don't know what that was about, but he was the greatest player this year, and I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious. Do you think that people nowadays in this generation, and this is a different game, obviously, as we mentioned. Do you believe these cats are getting rewarded for actually being floppers, actually being soft? Because Joker don't flop, he don't sit out games, he don't load manage, and he's almost punished for it.
You're right there. He doesn't do all those things. He's just a player. He just comes out and he's humble. He plays a game, and I know deep down inside he said, "Yeah, I'm a bad MF. I'm bad, but I ain't got to tell everybody. They can see it. I can show them with the way I play the game, and that's how he does it. And he should be rewarded for that. I don't care what the deal is, but if you feel like, well, maybe we should give it to somebody else. No, look at his stats. Look at what he does. They were the best team in the league all year. Look at what he does for his team. Everything.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no
that's
question.
true. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Just the entire year, like the media, even fans outside of the Denver market, everyone just didn't really give the Nuggets their just due, their credit. Even as the number 1 seed going to the playoffs, everyone just kept saying, I got to see it in the playoffs. So and I get it. The last few years, Nuggets have been a good team, but fell short. But it's like at this point, you just said it. They've been the best team all year long. They've continued to show it. the Joker has continued to be the best player all year long. And I'm just happy that the whole world is seeing it now, because Denver's not the biggest market, as we all know. So now that they're playing these big games, I think we're all able to see it. And one thing I wanted to now go ahead.
I was gonna say it's always been that way. Even when I played, we were good. We won our division. We were in the Western Conference Finals, but nobody respected the Denver Nuggets. Nobody respected Alex English. They didn't know what they did on the court because there wasn't a market there. But now that they get an opportunity to see, and they're showing them that we are the best team. So I'm glad that they're there. I'm happy they're there, and I know we're going to do great.
Let me ask you this real quick. What does winning a championship do for the Joker's legacy? Because me and JB, we've been having this argument all week long. I said a bold statement. I know it's bold, but I believe if the Nuggets go ahead and finish this race and get a ring, I think it puts Joker in the top 5 greatest centers of all time in the conversation. The top 5, but I want to hear from you.
I agree with you. I mean, I think that's the one part of legacy that people respect. Oh, he won a championship. I think if I could have been on a championship team, I might have gotten more respect as a player. But I think that's the one thing that's going to just solidify Joker as one of the greatest players to play the game. So I'm praying. But if he doesn't win it, he's a hell of a player.
Do you as we get out of here, man, we can't thank you enough for coming on here. But let me ask you a college question. Alex English, legendary Denver Nugget, NBA Hall of Fame player. Let me ask you this, Alex. My good friend's a college basketball coach right now. You know him. He was the head coach at South Carolina, Frank Martin. He's now at UMass. He recruits the hell out of that area, and we're in a transfer portal era right now. What is your take on this transfer portal? Cats leaving. People may
I don't.
And they smell it.
Care for it. I don't care for it. I don't like it at all. Because there is no dedication to team. When I played, you came and you were a Gamecock. You stayed there, and you played, and you had loyalty. Now there is no loyalty. Players say, okay, well, I don't like the coach. I don't like that I'm not playing, so I'm going to jump in the transfer portal. And then they're able to go and play right away. I don't like that. If you're gonna transfer, punish them. Make them wait and sit out a year or so.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of the portal, but for some players, from some teams, it's been great.
Yeah, I agree. I just think loyalty, everything about the team, like you said, is just gone. As a former coach and a coach my whole life and a player, I mean, this is football is no longer.
How do you build camaraderie? How do you build camaraderie when you got people coming in and out?
Every semester, Alex. Every semester. Yeah, you
That's
got new
crazy.
team. I don't dig it either, man. I don't dig. What do you got going on right now, Alex? What's going on next for you? You got anything in the fire? Or are you doing things every day, or what do you got? What do you got going?
Well, I've got a foundation here. I do a basketball camp. I do a celebrity golf tournament here. I serve on the University of South Carolina Board of Trustees and a businessman. So I've got a few things going on. My basketball camp, if I get a chance to plug it, is at the end of July. And I have a celebrity golf tournament, which is at the October 30th. So I'm looking for celebrities to come play. You guys come on down and play. Send me a team to play, and we raise money for a lot of good charities.
When is the golf tournament?
October 30th in Columbia, South Carolina at the Cobblestone Golf Course.
Columbia. All right. And boom. And then where's your foundation?
It's Let's Share Foundation. It's here in Columbia as well.
Let's Share Foundation. And then can anyone donate to that, or how do they find you?
Yeah, well, the Let's Share Foundation, you can donate to Let's Share. I can send you a link to it, but you can probably find it on letssharefoundation.com or alexenglishbasketballcamp.com.
Let'sShareFoundation.com and then Alex English. I'm going to put it all in here for the chat. Alex English, basketball.com.
Alex English basketball camp, basketball skills camp. And then the Alex English celebrity golf tournament.
Got you. I'm
putting
it on the ticker down here so everybody can see, follow it, and go check it out. Let me see here.
Yeah, we have at the golf tournament, we have some great celebrities, Too Tall Jones, Ralph Sampson, Bobby Dandridge, Johnny Davis, Fat Lever, Sterling Sharp, Arrow Green, some of the great sports celebrities out there. And maybe a couple of Hootie and the Blowfish guys.
Oh, okay. Hey, I got to come out there. I love South Carolina. My good friend is Pat Perez. He's out that way right now. He's on the Live Golf Tournament. He left the PGA. He's one of those guys that left the PGA. A lot of those guys left now. They're on that Live making buku money. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But they're out your way this weekend. I think they're they're not your way, but they're in D.C., I want to say, starting today and tomorrow. So I'm around these golfers all the time, man. So it'd be huge. I'll talk to him, see what we could do, man. I'd love to come out there.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming on,
Appreciate
Alex.
you. It's an honor.
Okay. Bye-bye.